Hi everyone, and thank you for joining my beginner violin class. So we're going to talk today about the different parts of the bow and moving them across the string. So again, we've already figured out where to put our thumb. Our fingers go across, relaxed fingers. The bow goes between these two joints on the pointer finger and rests on the bow a little bit, leaning. And then the pinky goes on top. Okay, so some things that we need to know when we're playing the violin. One of the most important things is that the bow has to go exactly across the string. So not at an angle in any way, but exactly across the string at all times. So parallel to the bridge, between the bridge and the fingerboard is the ideal place to play. So one thing that can help us is if we look at these two little dots here on either side of our, right here. That's where you want your bow, right in the center there. Okay. And the other thing that we need to know is that we never press the bow into the string. We want to teach our how to encourage the violin to play rather than pressing into the string to create something, especially when we're in that lower part of the bow closer to the frog. So one of the exercises we're going to learn is we're going to do it in the three parts of the bow. So we consider one is the lower third down at the frog. The other is the middle of the bow, and then the upper third of the bow. So these are our three main parts of the bow that we're going to play on. So our first exercise, we're going to play a quarter note and then 3 quarter rests and then another quarter note. And what we're going to do is we're going to start in that lower part of the bow. We're just going to rest that bow on the string. And you notice, so I'm between the bridge and the fingerboard. I am just letting the bow sit on the string. I'm giving a little bit of support from my hand. My hand is resting just a little bit on the bow to hold it onto the string, but I'm not pushing it anyway, and I can easily take off my fingers and just rest on that bow. So I'm going to play 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to roll to the A string. So now same thing, my hand is really relaxed, and I'm just going to let it play again. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you might notice on both these strings as I'm playing that my elbow is engaged, it's playing, but it's not pushing down in any way, it's just helping to draw the bow back and forth. So I'm not using just my hand, but I'm using my whole arm as I'm making those movements. Okay, so next we're going to go into the middle of the bow. So now I'm going to start maybe around here. Okay, and you'll notice that when I'm in the middle of the bow, my arm is pretty much flat across here. When I was at the frog, you notice that my wrist was a little more bent. My elbow appeared to be lower. I don't want to be up here like this because that puts too much weight in here, but I'm just letting it rest. But once I get to the middle of the bow, I'm going to need a little bit of my elbow to help me. So I'm using this as a, you could think of it like a picture frame that's resting onto the string right here. Okay, and then I'm going to again just do my 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you'll notice that I'm working out of the elbow, just the elbow. This is my motion. When I was working down here, I was swinging my shoulder. See, swing shoulder. That's the swinging shoulder, and now I'm in the middle, and I'm using just the elbow. 2, 3, 4, 1, and then I can do that also on the A string. So going from the A string, from the D string to the A string, I'm just dropping the whole thing down a little bit to be on the A string rather than on the D string. And then in the upper part. So now, you notice I didn't get all the way to the tip. So in order to get to the tip, I have to engage this part of my arm again, this upper part a little bit, as well as my elbow. So it's not just elbow, but I'm also reaching out a little bit in order to keep the bow straight. Because if I don't do that, what's going to happen if I just go from my elbow, the bow is going to go crooked. And remember, one of our rules is that we want to keep the bow exactly straight. So here I am, and I'm going to reach all the way out to the tip, keeping it straight. So I'm having to move that upper part of my arm as well as my elbow. And the other thing you'll notice is now my elbow is at the same level or higher than the bow. I'm having to lean a little bit into that, because if I was down here like I was at the frog, there's no weight, there's no sound. So I do need to lean in a little bit. Middle, frog. My elbow hasn't really changed its height. This is my D string height. It's just my position of my hand in relation to the elbow has changed. And then if I'm on the A string or the E string, that's when my elbow height changes. So anyway, I hope that helps a little bit as a very, very beginner exercise to start playing. Thank you.